are watching the Spring 2019 Sencha Tasting Series Part 1. Let's get started. Something that I'm experimenting with in this video is I've added a second view over here, another phone camera, so hopefully I can make the shots more interesting. We'll see how that goes. If you like it, please do let me know down in the comments. So what is our tea today? Spring Sencha First Flush. It's from Hachimanjyu Tea Gardens. Hopefully you can see that there. And it was grown in Kagoshima. Now Kagoshima is on Kyushu, which is the southernmost island in the chain of Japanese islands. It's known as being, as far as tea goes, a pretty flat, wide expanse of plains, just flat ground. This is very uncommon, unusual in Japan. And because of that, teas grown in Kagoshima tend to get a lot of sunlight. Growers in Kyushu and Kagoshima in particular will grow cultivars that are known for their more sort of like sweet and balanced flavors. So in this case, this tea is a blended sencha of Kuritawase and Asatsuyu. Now I've had Asatsuyu before, and it's a very good cultivar, very sweet and enjoyable. I have not had much experience with Kuritawase. This is the first time I'm opening this tea, so we will be experiencing the unique characteristics and flavor of it together. So let's go ahead and get things going. So the instructions printed on the label here indicate that this tea should be brewed with 5 grams using 200 milliliters of water. Brew time is 1 minute using water that is 70 degrees Celsius or about 158 degrees Fahrenheit. Now this vessel that I have in front of me here is only about 150 milliliters, so I'm going to cut back and use only 4 grams of tea. That way we keep the sort of tea to water ratio balanced, and we will see how it goes. So we'll start with just measuring out our tea here. So first impressions on the dried leaf. Not a super strong aroma, sort of, it is sweet, sort of savory. And let's see, the leaves are not in complete pieces. They're a bit more broken up. I'm seeing some larger flaky pieces and then some longer needle-like pieces. This is probably coming from the blend of the two cultivars, as I discussed previously. All right, I will take a crack at showing this to this camera view here, and we'll see how it goes. So I don't know how well you can see this, especially because the piece that I'm holding is also quite dark. I may look at getting some white porcelain pieces here in the future so that the leaves can be shown a little bit better. But yeah, definitely can tell that it's a blend of 2 teas. I'm seeing what appears to be some stems in here. And so I'm expecting a good balance of sort of sweetness and astringency from this tea. So let's get to it. Going to preheat the vessel for about 10 or 15 seconds. Again, this is a very important part of the tea making process so that you can ensure that as you're brewing at a consistent temperature. Warm up the cup. In goes the tea. And I generally like to let the leaves sit in the tea, not for too terribly long, but sit in the teapot a little bit, and then, excuse me, as the heat of the clay heats the leaves, I'll give it a little smell. And we'll throw this guy in for 60 seconds. All right, So as I smelled it just there, some of the more sweeter aroma I was smelling out of the bag wasn't quite as present. I was getting a bit more of the sort of umami savoriness, so we'll see what actually comes out, in the end result of this tea. So here we go. All right, gotta give the lid another whiff. Again, not a super strong aroma coming out of this one. Sort of like almost like a corn potage or something like that. Something like a savory, thick savory soup. The color is rather on the yellowish side. The liquor not super clear. There's definitely some sediment in here, but that's not a bad thing. See if maybe this guy can capture it a little bit. Now for the taste. Okay. Not super strong. There's a nice sort of forward sweetness with a good balance of astringency underneath it. It feels quite sort of well-rounded. This is a good tea. It's light, crisp. As far as I understand, generally speaking, Shincha teas, sort of the first harvest spring teas, are generally prized for their kind of bolder astringency anyways. And so this is a perfectly enjoyable tea. It's not knocking my socks off. I wonder if maybe I put a little bit more tea leaf in and used a little bit of a shorter brewing time, how that would change it. I would certainly give it, a stronger flavor, but I'd have to be careful not to get too close to bitterness. I did choose to brew it on the cooler side of temperatures, 70 degrees Celsius, 158. I could also potentially increase the heat on this and to focus on bringing out more of the body of the tea. All things to experiment with when you're learning a new tea. I'm going to kick this kettle up to 75 degrees Celsius, or about 167 Fahrenheit, for a second steep. I'm getting some of the umami coming out. It's not overwhelming, but it's there in the back. As the tea's cooled a little bit, I'm noticing some slightly different characteristics. All right, I'm going to leave a little bit of this in this cup. I'm going to go ahead and jump into the second steep. So now I'm just basically going to go water in and water out as fast as I can. These leaves are already wet. They're still sort of brewing, if you will. I need to get a camera shot that lets me focus on how beautiful it looks in this pot as I'm pouring the water. So the leaves are already wet. They're still warm from the first steep. They don't need to be opened up and brewed in the same way. And I am rather particular about getting as much out as I can, both because I want to drink it and because I don't want a lot of water just sitting in here with the leaves in between infusions, because they will continue to infuse even with just a little bit of water. All right, getting a bit more of the savoriness coming out. I'm expecting this steep to be a bit more on the astringent side. So I left a little bit of this so I can remember how the first infusion tasted, and then we'll jump straight into the next. So I'd say it's gotten a bit greener, which I think implies to me that there's more in the way of, as I increase the heat, more of the sort of polyphenol content is coming out. So a little bit less of the thinner yellow and moving into a darker green. Yes, it's a bit drying. I'm feeling, my tongue a bit sticky, the inside, like on my gums, lips, feeling the stickiness. That's minerals, that's tannins, that's catechins. Yeah, I'm enjoying this tea. It feels like the kind of tea I would choose in the morning if I wanted something a bit more bracing, something that's going to be a bit brighter, kind of give me some of that get up and go type feeling. Or in the afternoon, if I want a nice pick-me-up, I tend to reach for these types of teas. Something that's going to have the type of boldness and character that really wakes me up and makes me pay attention. This is that type of tea. All right, I'm going to kick this up in temperature one more time. I'm going to go to 80 degrees Celsius, which is about 176 in Fahrenheit, and see how it does. So again, we'll pour out the last cup here, drink a bit of it, and then leave the rest for comparison. Here we go. Once again, water in, water out, with minimal delay. Looks like this steep is a bit on the clearer side, less clouding in the liquor, is what it looks like so far. I wonder if that means that, we're sort of reaching the extent of what it has to offer. It could be tapering off. That's not to say that it wouldn't be good to keep drinking. The aroma has more or less disappeared. It's become quite weak. Yes, much more transparent. Even in the cup, it looks less murky. It's a very beautiful color, though. It's gone from sort of the pale yellow to the more sort of electric green, and now it's just like a nice, lovely light green yellow color. Here we go. Very interesting. This is very different from the previous two infusions. There's definitely a lot less of this sort of noticeable, powerful flavor in the tea. Even the mouthfeel of it has thinned out a bit. But I actually kind of like it. It's almost like a nice sort of conclusion. If you think of kind of the arc of the experience, the drinking experience, from first steep to second steep and then third steep, this is a nice denouement, a nice way to end the little session. It's lighter, it's crisp. I'm getting some of that same astringency, but it's less powerful. There's a gentle aroma and flavor in the nose and throat. This is actually really enjoyable. This has been a really fun tea. Yeah, it feels like it's sort of just washing my mouth out, you know, cleaning the palate and just ending everything on a nice light note. This would be, I think, a really enjoyable type of tea to have after a meal, especially if you're having something greasy or fatty. This would be a great way to just like wash it all out afterwards. So overall, I would rate this tea fairly highly. It's not the creme de la creme, but it's a very solid tea. It's an enjoyable experience. I would put it probably somewhere around a 4 out of 5. It's like on the higher end of like just good spring sencha, but there's nothing about it that's so amazing and so impactful that it's really blowing me away and pushing it into that upper echelon. But it's an enjoyable tea. And as far as like having teas from Kagoshima and stuff like that, I don't have a ton of experience with it, like I said, so this has been an enlightening and new experience. I did get this tea from Yunomi, and I will put a link to it in the description down below. And this is not a sponsored video, by the way, but I did get a discount code or like a coupon from Ian to pick up some spring tea, and so this is part of that order. So I think that this will do it for this video. I'm gonna wrap up this last little bit here, and then we'll move forward to our next tea. Like I said, I've got a lot more coming. I'll probably make a playlist about this, you know, like the spring 2009 sort of tasting playlist. I've got, I think, 4, maybe 5 more teas to drink through here, so we got a lot of tea drinking to do. I hope y'all enjoyed this video. If you liked it, please like the video, subscribe, comment down below if you have any questions, or if you'd like to offer any of your own experience or insight with teas like these. I'm always happy to hear from other tea drinkers what they've learned about this kind of stuff, because I'm trying to grow my own knowledge. And thanks so much for watching. Tune in for more tea videos. Check out my blog at thetealetter.com, and stay tuned for more great stuff coming soon. Thanks a lot, and happy drinking.